If you're like most people, you hear the funky beats and zippy lyrics of the Bee Gees song Stayin' Alive, and you're probably picturing John Travolta strutting down the streets of New York in the 1977 film Saturday Night Fever. And to be fair, I do too. But I also hum that song every time I see the fox squirrel. Weird, right? But stay with me on this one. It's early. Denver suburbs received over 6 inches of snow overnight, while temperatures dropped to single digits. And while most animals are sleeping, waiting for the day to warm up before beginning their day, one animal in particular takes advantage of the sleepy, cold morning. Yeah, it's the American fox squirrel. These resident rascals are masters of taking advantage of their situations, of course, for the sole purpose of staying alive. What makes fox squirrels so great at staying alive? Is it their adaptability, agility, pure charm? Maybe a little of all three. These squirrels are frequent visitors at bird feeders, oftentimes driving away the intended residents. Just ask Denver homeowner Todd.
They're amazing. They're hardworking, they're problem solvers, they're agile.
Squirrels aren't the only interlopers at the feeder. Todd often sees deer, raccoons, even coyotes taking advantage of what the feeders have to offer. Sometimes owls rest in the juniper tree just above the boxes, waiting for mice who munch on the fallen seed to make a wrong move. But squirrels tend to be one of the most frequent and opportunistic guests at the feeders, oftentimes parking themselves inside the basket to avoid sharing and to make gorging easier.
Squirrels are amongst the first animals here in the morning because they want to make sure they get the choice dibs. They're here on the coldest and the warmest mornings and before it's even light out, before the birds come. They favor the sunflower seeds because they're easier to eat than the corn. And there's also a hierarchy amongst them where there's the boss squirrel in the box and then lesser squirrels that basically seem to know their place and don't usually get driven off.
Colorado winters can be brutal for some animals, but the American fox squirrel uses its scrappiness to survive. Fox squirrels can cache anywhere from 3,000 to 10,000 nuts and seeds per year using a technique called scatter hoarding, where they store excess food in various places rather than in one stash. A study from the University of California, Berkeley also shows that fox squirrels may even separate or categorize their caches into subcategories for storage, presumably in order to remember where they've stored their most precious treats, while at the same time hiding them from potential thieves. Researchers were able to track squirrels as they stashed their nuts and noticed patterns of distribution.
It's actually pretty funny. You can actively see them digging in the yard, burying things, but the funny part is that they're actually expert farmers without deliberately being so. By the time it gets to be May and June, all of a sudden we'll have corn growing in the yard in various places because they've planted it throughout the yard. So they're very active cachers, and part of it's because they have such a strong food supply here that I think they don't need to feel like they have to eat everything and they can actually put their favorite treats away. They'll bury peanuts, corn, and anything else that they can find.
Fox squirrels are also master acrobats when it comes to accessing food from feeders, staving off the competition, and avoiding
You can
threats.
see them when they're coming to the yard, gauging their leaps, sometimes that are 6, 7 feet across trees. They're getting up onto feeders that are in odd locations. They're jumping amongst very narrow spaces in the fence in between rose bushes. And occasionally, if there's a dog or another sort of predator, the things that they do to evade them and to get up high are amazing.
If you haven't already done it, search for squirrel obstacle course videos to see just how agile they can be. Or just check out this linked video. These videos show the true scrappiness and intelligence of squirrels and, just as importantly, their masterful ability to adapt in order to stay alive. Another study from the University of Nebraska Omaha showed just how adept squirrels are at navigating treacherous leaps, split second decision making, and strategic navigation. The study identified that squirrels learned from mistakes to adjust landing techniques and maneuvers that kept them from tumbling to the ground. Fox squirrels are master survivors. Their talents for opportunistic feeding and food storage, partnered with their agility, a critical skill for getting to hard to reach food supplies and avoiding danger, make them the best at ah, 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 stayin' alive.